Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to be doing a beef stew recipe slash tutorial. Beef stew is really easy. So while we're making this beef stew, we're going to talk about something else really interesting. But I'm going to pop back in so you guys can know what we're supposed to be doing. Right here, I'm cutting up some carrots to throw in the crock pot. All you need for this recipe is simple. You just need some carrots, a bell pepper, to potatoes, and a onion, and you just need to throw it all in the crock pot. You need a beef stew packet and a couple of other seasons and herbs. But other than that, it should not be too hard or too expensive. This recipe is really good for the winter time and also good for anybody who's on the go. It's something, one of probably the first things I learned when I was in college, how to make, because it's just so easy to do. So, also, if you're a college student or you're a high school student who just wants to learn how to cook something that's quick and easy and it'll last a really long time, this is something that you might like. Also, I might add, it takes about minimum 2 to 4 hours for beef stew to cook and to become tender. But if you really want it to be good, I would recommend that you let it cook overnight. That's when I get the best results because everything is just soft and falling apart. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and cut up our carrot, our bell pepper, our onion, and our potatoes, and we're gonna throw them in the crock pot. And while we talk about that, I want to talk about, something that I have been going through lately, and that is one of my hardest habits that I have recently broken. Well, actually, I've been working on for the last, I think about 6 or 7 months, but I completely stopped smoking. Now it is very much just something I do on, in, what is it called, not on occasion, but like in social settings sometimes, and I'm really proud about that. It's one of my hardest habits that I've had to break in my life, and I think that I've replaced it with doing things that are a lot more healthy, like reading and cooking and vlogging, and I've run my business. Actually tag my business below. It's called Sunday Sage. It is a loungewear brand, and I really love it. It's still budding, and I would love if everyone checked it out and made a couple purchases if you have the funds. But also just follow us on Instagram, show love. But yeah, I replaced smoking with doing other things, healthier things, like also meditation. I got really into yoga not too long ago. I've always been into yoga, but I started going to hot yoga like last month, and I think that might have actually helped me quit too, because the climate is so hot. It's 100 degrees when you go into hot yoga. So I think like one day I might have smoked before I went, and I felt like I was going to pass out, and I was extremely afraid. But that wasn't my main reason. I think it was just something that helped. But if you are someone who wants to stop smoking, and I'm talking about herbal things, I'm not talking about like cigarette smoke or vape smoke, which it still might be helpful to implement some of these strategies when you're trying to quit smoking. But for me, it was really just putting my mind on other things. Like if I really wanted to smoke, like if I really was like wanting and I didn't have anything at the house, I would just go take a nap, or I would drink some tea. That's another thing too. I think no one really points out that when you drink herbal tea, it really does replace your cravings to smoke. I'm not talking about cigarette smoke or vape smoke. I don't know that I've never had to deal with that struggle, but as far as like them herbs of a certain color, uh, yeah, herbal teas really do help. And also getting to the root cause of what it is that's causing you to want to smoke. Like, I think that a lot of the times people who are very heavy herb smokers, they have a tendency to have things that they're not working out. Like, maybe you're having issues in your friendships, or maybe you're really anxious for something, or you have a stressful job. um, all those things can make you constantly want to smoke. And it doesn't help that a lot of the times you're smoking with some kind of tobacco product, and tobacco can be highly addictive as well. So um, when you get to the root cause of what it is that your problem is, then you can kind of put your energy towards something else. I also find that, like, journaling, along with meditation and yoga, helps really get those feelings out. Because, like I said, I think that a lot of times people who are heavy smokers, they're not dealing with something. And the reason why we're not dealing with it is because we don't have the time to deal with it. But what I noticed is, and I was talking to someone else about this, is like, you have to make time. Like, we make time for everything in this world that we want to do, or all the bad habits. But if you make time for your health, make time for quitting a habit, like, you have to just be conscious about it and be like, okay, instead of taking this 10 minutes to smoke, I'm going to take a 10-minute walk, or I'm going to do a 10-minute breath exercise. Because that's also all that it is at the end of the day too, is the inhale and the exhale. And of course, you get that euphoric feeling, you get that feeling of stress relief, or even goofiness, lightheartedness, and it's great. But afterwards, if you are trying to stop smoking, I'm not saying everybody's trying to stop. So, if you aren't trying to stop, that's your prerogative. I'm never going to be someone who's completely against it. But I did see, after a while, I started noticing that my lungs weren't working to the full capacity. I felt like the back of my throat was constantly scorched and burned. I didn't really notice this at the time, but my lips were black. Like, it looked like I was losing so much weight. Like, and today, after, I want to say, a full month of not smoking, it's like I see the difference in me gaining weight again, and I see the difference in me being able to breathe. I used to sing all the time, and I started not being able to hold a note because my lungs were not filling up with air. They were blocked with soot and probably smoke as well. Because, I don't know if you know this or not, but smoke gets caught in our lungs. Like, it gets caught in pockets. That's why sometimes smokers, when they cough after they're done smoking, they can cough up more smoke, even though it's been hours since you smoked last. So, I'm kind of rambling, so just follow me along. I didn't really have a plan for this, but I did want to just spread light on the fact that if you are a smoker, and you want to quit, you can. You just have to dedicate yourself to quitting. Um, there's definitely a period where you're going to crave, and you're going to go through withdrawals, and you're going to be kind of irritable, but you have to get over it. Like, just do not do it. And there's no better way. There's nothing I can say. There's no patch for this. There's no like calling all of your weed men and saying, like, stop, don't answer the phone to me, because they want their money at the end of the day. That's another strategy I kind of implemented that I didn't realize I was implementing, or it maybe I realized it. I probably did it on purpose, but it took me months for it actually to be effective. I deleted all my weed men's numbers. I deleted all their numbers. And, like, I had, like, somebody I knew who, if I really, 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 really wanted to, I could hit them up. But, like, they're not that reliable. So with them not being reliable, I just, every blue moon, maybe I would hit them up. But I completely stopped doing that. So that's how it turned into me only, partaking in smoking in casual settings, or in what's the word I'm looking for, in where I'm around other smokers. Oh, okay. I kind of missed out on the recipe. So, okay. I just cut up the celery, and that's another thing I forgot to mention. You do need celery for this recipe, so get some celery as well. Chop it up just like you did the bell pepper, and then you season your beef. So I like to season mine with black pepper and salt, and I think I even added a little bit of garlic salt into this seasoning, and you just season it all up, and then you toss it around so that way it gets coated on all sides. Yeah, I did add garlic salt. Cool. I also added something else to the seasoning. Don't do that. I didn't like it. That was the first time I had ever added what is that? uh, I don't know, whatever that was. Don't add anything other than salt, black pepper, and maybe the garlic salt. But you don't even need garlic salt. You can just use salt and black pepper because when you season when you put everything together at the end, you're gonna add more seasoning. So you really don't need anything but black salt. I mean black pepper and salt. So I'm just gonna toss that around, and I didn't get it. I don't think I got the full video, but after I toss this around, I'm going to put them in a bag of flour and shake it up. Anyway, until I get to that point, yeah, no, I deleted all my Wheatman's numbers. So that was a big step because I used to have like I could say like a phone book of Wheatmen that I could call at any point, and if one didn't answer, the next one will, or somebody else knows somebody, and that's what adds to becoming addicted or just having a dependency. I don't really like to say addiction for weed specifically, but having a dependency on weed because you know so many people and you make so many friends who are either smokers or they sell weed or they know somebody, and it's just a cycle. It's a cycle that you kind of get caught up into. um and then like when I was in college, I used to have, well, my friend groups, like most, I had a lot of friend groups, but um like out of like maybe like if I let's say I had like 10 friend groups, out of those 10 friend groups, 8 of them were smokers. So it's like you kind of too have to get used to not hanging out with your friends low key, because like if everybody knows if you're a smoker, you know that you make friends because they smoke. Okay, here I am just going, sorry, I'm going in and out of conversation, but I went ahead and shook up the meat in the bag, and then I put them in, after they were coated with flour, I put them in a pan with some oil and cooked them until they were brown on all sides. So now I'm finally have everything in the crock pot. As you can see, it's kind of all layered down. um, the bell pepper, the celery, the carrots, the onion, and the potatoes. As you can see, the potatoes are bite sized, they're not chopped up tiny. Put them all in there. And also, I have, you probably will see it in a second, I have some beef broth that I'm going to pour over the top. I don't think that you can use water. I don't think there's a substitute. So I would get beef broth because it's like your base. Um, Maybe you can use water if you know how to use it with water, but I always use beef broth. And then I'm going to just pour that over the top. Once I get to that point, I'm gonna also add in the beef stew packet and some other seasonings. But yeah, anyway, I had to kind of separate from my friends. Oh, there's the beefs. As you can see, like they're brown. It's not cooked all the way through. They're just brown on all edges. The beef is going to cook through the whole night, or the over the next at least 4 hours. It's gonna cook through, so you don't have to worry about like cooking it too much, because if you cook it too much, then it's gonna be tough. um you want them to be just brown. So I add a bay leaf in there as well, for flavor. And if you don't have a bay leaf, that's fine, you don't have to add a bay leaf, but it just takes the flavor to another level. I'm not even exactly sure what bay leaf does, but it helps. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I think one of the main reasons I quit smoking was because I started noticing like I was so mucusy. Oh yep, see beef stock or beef broth, whichever one, they're the same. I was so mucusy all the time, like always coughing, always trying to clear my throat, and I still kind of do, but um, I think that has more to do with my allergies than it does have to do with smoking. Um, and you can see here the steam is coming off of the pot is because it was already cooking, it was already warming the entire time, which I recommend that you preheat everything because if you don't preheat it, it's just going to take forever to warm because slow cookers are what they it sounds like what it is. It's a slow cooker, so it warms up really slow. Um, but yeah, oh yeah, add in a stick of butter. I added in half that stick of butter. And I think I went in later on and added another half, the other half later on, like after that first stick had melted, just so it could be coated everywhere. If you have like high cholesterol or you're worried about that, then just do the half the stick. You don't have to do too much on the butter. And then you have your better than bouillon beef paste. That's really good too. You don't have to add that again, but it does add to the flavor. It's just an extra kick of coating. Do about a tablespoon of that.
Oh, AJ, downstairs. Thank you, dear.
Okay.
I
Um
must say, Bree, I was surprised to get your
Oh,
call.
I did
Of course,
two
they've never
better
signed a
than
contract.
bouillon. So I did
Bree has
the
decided to move into the
onion
home with the
paste
family.
and the
Pretty visual over
stew
here, though.
paste. But again, you don't need to add either of those. I just add them because I like
I know your
what they
advances
do
been
to the
hoping for a
taste. It
second
makes it a
bug,
little bit more
my wife
savory.
included.
That's sweet, but
But you
I'm
don't
excited to
need
focus on
them.
other pursuits.
Again,
Yes,
beef
so long
stew
as
is
the
really
balance
simple and
between
it's
divorce
really
and love
what
is never
you
worse
want
than
to
beyond
what you want
exaltation.
to add
I'm glad
to
I'll be
your
the only
pot.
one she's cooking
This
for.
is just over time what I've learned
Were you able to look over any
works best
contracts
for
we sent
me.
over?
And so you just need like a tablespoon of that. Wash off your
I'll
spoon.
show you the offices before we start the demolition.
Your office? What is it?
The green one with the longest ladder to game room.
But no, yeah, I that's
Since your
basically how I
sole
stopped
ambition
smoking.
is Enos's
I
forced
one
separation. Andrew?
deleted all my weed mins numbers. Two,
Why are you living
I
portions
went
away?
ahead and
It was my idea. My work has been compromising
I
my
just
marriage.
stopped. Like I
Didn't
stopped
realize the toll this
not
would take on
wanting
a
it,
person.
but I just stopped
Okay, so he's
making it
unhappy.
a priority in my
Why are
life.
golf clubs put him
Now,
off
if
lesbians? You know
somebody
everything you
is
worked so
like,
hard for, Andrew.
we're out and
Doesn't work
about,
so
it's
well
party
because
day,
it's all
night, or
therapeutic.
even if
I
I've
actually believe in the old-fashioned values I wrote about. I
finished
believe
a
that
whole bunch of
it's going
tasks
to
and
raise your
somebody has
children
invited
respecting their
me to
elders.
smoke with them, I
But
will, I'm saying, I'll
sometimes
indulge.
women need to make
But I try
sacrifices.
not to keep it going. I try not to do anything back to back. Like the other day, my neighbor actually invited me to smoke with them, and I did, and I was actually kind of disappointed. And I will say too, like, be prepared if you're gonna stop smoking.
He wants you to stop dealing with
Just know that like afterwards it's not gonna affect you the same way that it affected you when you first started. Like now it not only makes me feel lazy, but it also makes me paranoid. And I hate it. I hate the feeling of being paranoid because I feel like someone's going to abduct me or something, and it's very nerve-wracking. um so I even the other day, like I was just like, why did I do this to myself? And that's what you start feeling afterwards. It's like, why did I even do this? Like I didn't even need to, you know what I mean? Like you're not looking down on it, but
Carlos.
it's not
That's where
what
you
it
leave
used to
off.
be, and I don't know if that comes
Just
with age or
don't
it's
feel like
just when you
everyone's
take a
stupid.
long break and then you get back into
Carlos
it,
said some people
your
are having
brain is
problems with me
like
and that I should
trying to
watch my
make you
demeanor.
not want it anymore. I don't know,
Who
but
are some
I
people
feel
in life?
paranoid now when I smoke.
It's
And so
Okay. Yes. Who else
more
did
and
I start
more,
with?
and
Are you
that's not
ready?
the first time this has happened
So,
because I've been
this
on this little
treatment
journey for a
before
while.
crack solving was
Um
unsuccessful.
and
But
I've gone longer than a month before,
I got something
but
better.
I definitely am probably going to keep going at this point
Next time
because
you have an issue with me,
you just
you know where my
feel
office is. Oh,
like,
and
why did I even do
this
that?
also
Like, I
probably
was
begs
so
your concern.
productive and I
Can
felt
say
so
that my
good and everything
partner
was
worked
going
nights.
so great. And now I feel like crap.
Charismatic coach, yes, you are an office
And
politics.
also, that might be the
Or
quality
this
of weed
much.
too, but that's not what we're talking about here. Anyway, so as you can see, I added in, I think, some minced garlic and some, a little bit of rosemary, some more black pepper, and probably a little bit more salt.
Michigan's where I was ranked by
And I
the
just gave it a
Atlantic
mix
Journal.
so that way it could all be in there together. And I'm just going to, at this point, put the lid on. If I had some parsley, I probably would have added some parsley. Um, but that was my beef stew recipe. I didn't get the final results, but it was so good. Let me know in the comments if you liked it. All right, bye.